Oh. Welcome to another video. This is a full gardening video. We're going to spend the day together in the garden, maybe a bit longer, maybe not, but a full day will give me plenty to share with you guys. It's about 8 degrees, 7.9 and about 58% humidity. I think it might get more than that though, because it's trying to rain. It's due to rain on and off today, but I can't let that put me off. I have got a hot cup of coffee to keep me going. I haven't got my other mug because I left it outside, so I must remember to take that in today so that I don't end up leaving all of the house mugs out here. We've got lots to get done, as well as any weeds that might have come up since I was last out. It's now, hopefully, we are past the frosts. Hopefully, well, not the frosts, but the sub-zero temperatures. We'll probably still get frost. My last frost date here is until middle of May, towards the end of May. One year we had a freakishly late frost which killed off a lot of stuff right at the end of May. Unexpectedly, of course. But yeah, until the middle of May I've got to be careful. So I kind of work back from that. I haven't got any of my squash plants, cucumbers, anything like that sown yet. I'm going to get some cucumbers and melons in today, but the courgettes and squash I'll leave for a little while. I'm also going to get the summer leeks in today. Could have done that a couple of weeks ago. I just haven't got around to it, but I think I'll also try and get the winter leeks in. But priority wise, it'll be the ones that I want to harvest sooner rather than later. I'll go through all of that once we go in the greenhouse. I'm also going to be potting on, or continue potting on like a mad woman, because you forget how long it takes. It takes a long time and a lot of compost. The other problem I've got is the compost that I showed you as I was walking in. The clover, sorry, got an itch. The clover compost that I got from the garden centre is wringing wet and super heavy. I'm not sure how we didn't realise when we were putting it in the car, and it's been in the shed ever since, so it's not that it's been out in the rain. Anyway, I've got some in the barn that I can use for potting on, because that was really nice. And that's from our local, where I get the chicken feed from. So I'm just going to continue getting it from them. And just bearing in mind, I will be checking for the weight of the bags, you know, because you think, well, they tend to be heavy anyway, bags of compost, but not sure how I didn't realise that. Anyway, I'm going to get busy in the greenhouse first, just because I want to get a few things potted on. And to be honest, if I take it in, there's a bird. And to be honest, if I take it in stints, doing a bit in the greenhouse, doing a bit outside, you know, changing up your posture and things like that, it'll hopefully be less demanding on the old bones. I tend to, when I'm stood and I think I said to you the other day, how the kids do it when they're on the phone. That's what I always think of. When I'm putting on, my neck ends up hurting. Anyway, overshare. I'm going to get busy with that, and then we'll see where we get to outside. It is raining just a little bit, but tough. Got to crack on. This is where I'm up to in here. What I'm doing is just put my coffee down. I've got my trusty table out that I use for outdoor things, a bucket for any plants that haven't made it, any leaves that I'm chopping off. These two kale plants, you can eat these flowers, taste lovely, you can stir fry them. I'm going to give them to the chickens, that one and this one. And we've still got the what's it called, Tuscan kale. The Portuguese outside has also given up and gone to seed, but that's totally fine. I'm fine with that. We've got lots of other things coming along, the spinach and the chard and other things. What I've done with this spinach that started going to seed, as you can see, I've chopped it back, but we'll be able to hopefully get a second harvest of it. And I've got some of the shallots that I didn't get out, so pretty much everything on here is going to be going out. And obviously there's a lot more. You can see what I've been doing already is the potting on. These are the tomatoes. I've got different size pots because they're tomatillos, these are tomatoes. These are far, they should have been potted on a long time ago. Didn't happen, but oh look, something's landed on this one. That was fine last night. Okay, we'll have to swap you for something else. That was a tomatillo as well, bloomin' thing. Anyway, where was I? I'm using different size pots because the length of these were just too big for some of these ones. So I thought, well, they're going to be moving from this size into this size anyway very soon. So I'll just see if I've got any more of this size and just work with what we've got basically. I'll have to have a look and dig some out. But this is what we're working with first. This is where we've got two so far. These are the tomatoes that I showed you originally. I'm just starting to put them out on this top along here. I've got a plank that I stand on to water, just to make life easier. So these are the black Russian tomatoes here. These are the tomatillos. We've got two big mama tomatoes. They're from seeds that I had left over last year and only two germinated, which I expected. and we've got the BB, Bloody Butcher. I was thinking, oh, I'll remember what that is, but the Bloody Butcher, let me show you the leaves on them. These are the Black Russian, which kind of look to me like standard tomato leaves, and these are the Bloody Butcher, which have a totally different, more round, oval shaped leaf, I guess. So they're quite easy to tell if you happen to forget to label them, which I am really trying not to do. I haven't labelled all of the tomatillos individually because I only have the one variety from real seeds, and they're really easy to tell the difference. And even if I have to wait until the fruit, which hopefully they will be able to distinguish them the whole time. So there's there was 6 tomatillo plants, as you saw. One of them unfortunately had snapped overnight somehow. I'm guessing a bird landed on it or something. All of the Black Russians, and I'm going to continue now with what's in here and just keep going. I've got the Romas that I'm doing next. I've got a ton of money makers, which I'm going to leave to the end, because if you remember before when I was talking, I'm going to put some of these in our honesty box. So I need to make sure I've got enough pots for myself before I do that. And in here, what have we got? San Marzano, Sun Gold and Golden Delight. So I will be getting some of those in before I'd go for the money maker ones. It's also good, just a little tip, even though don't do what I do, because these should have been potted on for ages, just to kind of be a little bit rough with them. Give them, if you kind of rub your hand over them, or a wind in the summer, or a fan or something, it just builds up the strength. If they treat them mean, keep them keen, whatever the phrase is. Right, I'm going to shut up and get on with this. Well, it's still raining. I've been working in the garden, in the greenhouse, for hours and literally feel like I'm getting nowhere, but I'm going to keep on going. I've just added some, I've done the horses after I've had some lunch, so I've just added, we've clipped. What do you do to the grass? Mowed the lawn, cut the grass. Why was that so difficult? And these are the grass clippings, and I've just put some horse manure on there, fresh out of the stables, just to get that bit of the compost pile going. I think what I'll do is, you see all the fresh stuff that's on the top, I'm going to add that on this side as well, because I think that compost in the corner there might be ready. So we'll see. But yeah, it's just miserable out here. The ground is so wet. I'm not going to try getting anything in it just right now. I'm going to keep going in the greenhouse, because I have to be honest with you, I started exercising again this week, and I am in so much achy pain. It's unbelievable. It's really not worth it. Anyway, I'm going to go back in the greenhouse. I went inside for some lunch and then did the horses and a few other things. And I made some wild garlic scones, obviously using the wild garlic that you guys have seen from in front of the greenhouse. Delicious. I've done a separate video on it if you're interested. Have a look for that. Really, really nice. I do want to get some rhubarb though. I might do that now before I forget. There you go, first rhubarb of the year picked. There's only 5 stalks here. Doesn't look like I've touched it, look. Which is good, because I want to get plenty of different rhubarb things. I'll do individual recipes on those as well. If nothing else, it's easy for me to go back to and just look at which recipe I used for what. I'm going to put a few of them on the blog, or I'll link to the recipe that I took them from. If it's one like the garlic scones, wild garlic scones that I did with cheese, with wild garlic in them, so they're off the National Trust website. So I just linked that instead of pretending that it was my own. But yeah, I'll be using these for syrup and stew and all kinds of good things like that. Obviously, there have to be a obligatory rhubarb crumble as well. Anyway, for now, I'm going to take this barrow back to the barn and get back in the greenhouse. I do have a load of muck from the barn, because we've taken out if you saw our small holding tour, you'll see there's just a huge muck heap in there, which was great on the nights when it was frosty, because it sort of warmed the barn up a little bit for the little things that we've got in there. But I need to get that out of the barn and onto the patch around here, around the currants and things like that. So here's a car. Different day, but I've got plenty done. I haven't videoed it because it's really windy. You might be able to hear on the microphone, and the camera just keeps falling over. So let me show you what I've done, although you probably can't see, but over the coming weeks hopefully we'll see if things start to grow. So this is what I've done for potatoes. So you may remember I've got these 3 beds here, the skinny beds. In this bed and this bed I've put potatoes. In this bed there's nothing just yet. I'm going to do the broad beans in there shortly. And also in the bed next to the IBC tank, hi Steven, I've got 2 rows, 1 row of Gatsby, and there's 6 in each row in these ones, and 1 row of ratte in that one. So the rest of this bed won't be potatoes, but I just had a couple at the back, and I've been noticing as I've going around lots of other things that need doing. But one really exciting thing, look at this, can you see The first asparagus. Asparagus will come through super quick, so we'll be keeping an eye on that because we didn't use it to its full extent last year, and something that we really regretted. So I'll be definitely keeping an eye on that and having it every day when it comes up. But for now, we've got 2 beds of potatoes, which I'm really pleased about. There's a couple of individual seed potatoes left, and I've got some in the house that I want to pop in that were nice potatoes that we enjoyed, though we don't know what the variety are. So I'll probably do those in pots separately. But for now, at least the potatoes are in, which is what I wanted to get done today. And between rain showers, my hair's tucked up into my hat because it's been absolutely tanking it down and it's gone back to wintry weather again. All of the potatoes are now finished. I'm good with all of that. What I've decided to do, I was just talking to my friend Louise about it, on the 2 potato beds where I've planted up maybe just over three quarters of them with potatoes, I leave the end bit because things never, like potatoes don't thrive there because it's so close to the hedge. What I am going to take my chances with this year, I'm going to put 1 pumpkin plant in each of those ends of the beds, and hopefully one will thrive rather than trying to get multiple from them, although the pumpkins can be quite demanding from a water point of view, so I'll have to make sure to keep those watered anyway. So I've left the ends of the beds for those, and right now I think I'm going to start a bit of work on this bed because it is between showers. It's been absolutely tanking it down again, but I want to get this done. So some of the strawberry plants are just in the middle of the bed where they shouldn't be. There is an old-fashioned, I'll turn you around and you can have a look, planter. I'm not sure, I think this is probably upside down. I think the 3 legs go in the ground and then the circles, the rings, are on the top to stop things falling out. But anyway, I never know. I've used it both ways. So there's a few weeds in here. So we've got weeds like this, but then we've also got strawberry plants. The strawberry plants along the edges I'm fine with, but the ones that are in the middle of the bed I'm going to replant probably along the edges or just in planters somewhere, because I'm going to use this bed again for carrots and parsnips this year. I used them for carrots last year, so I may be chancing my luck, but we'll see. I want to get the seeds in though, and I've got a few other seeds that I want to get in the greenhouse as well. You're going to have to excuse the lambs, they're shouting for something to eat. You see them over there in the distance. Grace is about to give them the bottle. They're the orphan lambs that are on bottles of milk, so they're reliant on us at the minute. Anyway, so let's get this weeded. This other bed is looking really well. I'm pleased about that, and I need to get that fleece inside. But if I can get this weeded and at least a few seeds in, I'll be feeling a lot happier. Can't remember if I showed you this bed. If not, here it is. And if I have, let's have a look how it's doing. So in here we've got different chards. The kale, Tuscan kale that were already in, they're doing okay. I took out the Portuguese kale that weren't doing very well. And we've got beetroot here all the way along. I'm putting beetroot in any space that I can find. Cauliflower, these are waiting to be planted because I haven't made a decision on them yet. And then we've got shallots. The original beetroot from last winter, I think they're going to end up coming out and the cauliflowers are going to go there. Same for this beetroot, but then there is a row of beetroot here as well, which I can't really see at the moment because it's literally just gone in. A few rows of onions. Some of them were from the sets. These were the red onions from sets. These ones were from seed, much smaller. And then we've got spinach, there's an onion there that I haven't planted. Oh, come here. I have to find a home for you. Spinach all along here, which I've interplanted with. Some of it was sown in autumn of last year, and some of it has been in pots like what you can see there, and I've just interplanted, and when some comes to an end I'm just going to replace it with fresh spinach. Those poor lambs. But for now, I'm going to get this bed worked on because I need to get those seeds in so they can start germinating. The weather has warmed up sufficiently, hopefully, to allow for the carrots to germinate. What I might do is just put that fleece on actually instead of putting it away, just to keep, we'll see, because we have got a few nights that are going to be 1 degree, so just above freezing. So we'll see. Anyway, I'll get busy. I need to find the seeds first, well second, because I need to weed it all first. You okay, mister? I'm a woman on a mission today. I'm going to show you what I've been doing in between showers again. It hasn't rained for a little while, but I've been in the greenhouse doing more seeds. I've got my dibber because I'm going to get some of the radish that are multi-sown in the module trays in the garden, in the veg plot that I've just, in the veg bed that I've just been working on. I'm too busy thinking about what's behind me. I'm going to tell you about this. So it's literally starting to rain again as I'm talking to you. What I'm wafting my stick at is knee deep in sheep bedding. Let me show you. We are wondering if we've made a mistake because it looks messy. Now, this is the sheep bedding that has come out of the barn. So every year we deep litter our animals in the barn over winter, and the sheep bedding is always a problem for us as to where we're going to put it because we don't have huge muck heaps or loads of space or anything like that, and we always want things to look as neat and tidy as possible. Now, you wouldn't think that looking at this, but we have decided this year we're giving this a go. I know what people are going to think. Isn't it going to burn? I hope not, because I'm thinking that it should just rot down rather than burn down, if that makes sense, because it's not deep enough to create the heat. And I'll be keeping an eye on it. So the ones that I'm worried about are obviously the honeyberry bushes. These blueberries did nothing last year anyway, so to be honest, I might be taking those out and rethinking the whole blueberry patch, which we definitely want. So this is literally the contents of the barn, and also not only on that bed but on this bed, which we've done a couple of years in a row, and it works really well on this bed, so I can't see why it won't work well on here. This was becoming rampant with weeds, and one thing that always happens every year is the weeds take over. Can't always stay on top of them because I'm busy working on, well, everything else basically, and things like this get put down the bottom of the priority list, and then the weeds become rampant, and it's just, it all ends up too much, and that's why I've given up the bottom plot for this year whilst I'm working full time. Anyway, so that was a decision. Have we made a mistake? I'm not sure, but based on the fact that the one here with the rhubarb and the currants and the gooseberries has worked fantastically before, I don't see why it shouldn't work, and then it should just fertilise the ground, rot down, keep the weeds down, and just make life a little bit easier. Hopefully, anyway, that's the plan. I'm going to show you, first of all, we'll go over here. I got rained off this job as well, so I've been a little bit all over the place today. I have brought the broad beans out. Why is that so hard to say? And I've got two different varieties. There's Bunyan's Exhibition and the Dulce Claudia, however you pronounce that. And I'm literally making my own teepees. This is normally a job that Stephen does. He's been so busy with other things, and it's quite embarrassing. You can tell that I've made them. Anyway, let's have a quick look. This is where I got to when I got rained off. So I've literally made a teepee circle. I'm not doing the lines this year. And then I found, when I was doing the strawberry bed, this contraption, and now I suddenly realised when I put it in, it's not good. It's supposed to narrow at the top for the beans to be a teepee. I'm going to ask Stephen about this one anyways. So I've started getting those in. I'm going to put some string around them and just weave it all around so the beans have got something to cling to. And then I might do peas here as well. The Jerusalem artichokes come up here. The peas might be finished by the time they come up. We'll see. Not too sure yet, but that's the plan for this. I'm leaving this empty at the moment. I may put some lettuce or just some extra spares that we've got in here. But funnily enough, this is the molehill soil, and it's just become like sludge. I thought it would be great, so I'm going to mix it with the horse manure next time I use that. But that's what I've done there. And if you've noticed, the gooseberry bushes are all catching up to each other now. Literally a week on. Anyway, let's go and have a look. Oh, hang on, before we go over there. Here, this is apple mint that's coming through. And instead of fight with it, what I've decided to do is just harvest everything that's on this side of the fence on the path. I'm not too bothered as long as it doesn't take over too much, but it's taken over in the bed as well. So I'm going to try and keep it contained to this end of the bed. I'm going to harvest anything that's on this side of the bed, and I'm going to use that in teas and in food and things like that. This bed is coming along nicely. The chamomile is really picking up. I'm pleased about that. Whatever this was has died. Can't remember what that was. The bay tree survived fantastically over the winter, and we've got lavender in the corners, which is being eaten by the apple mint as well, so I'm going to have to be careful with that. And the rosemary too is it's not looking too good. I think it may be that bloomin' beetle, rosemary beetle. Anyway, I'm going to get some borage seeds put in the middle of this, Or I may put peas. I'm not sure yet, we'll see. But this is more of a herby tea bed. So that's ongoing. Anyway, that's what we've been doing here. And if we go through, you can see the mess that we've made that needs tidying up. This bed here, you've just seen me working on in the rain. I've now taken all of these strawberries out. So I'm going to get these potted on, planted into plant pots. I've left some along the edges there. I will fill in the gaps with these ones here, and I'll probably go along to the corner. I've put a random dill plant in the corner there to see how that does. I've never grown it before, no idea how that's going to work, but that's what I've been working on. So those strawberry plants are going to go either into pots or fill in the gaps, and we'll see where we go from there. And in the greenhouse, this is what I've been doing. This is the work in progress. So I've literally got my different calibres into pots in here. They probably could have gone into the ground at this size, but we'll see how they do in these pots. I've got lots and lots of beetroot sown. I've got different types of leeks sown, both summer and winter varieties. This is a disaster. I left this go far too long and it's going to become chicken feed because it's actually all kale. Planted it, I sowed it for some reason on the 16th of February, which was against what Charles Dowden says, and it's all intertwined. I've left it far too long, and to be honest, in the back of my mind, probably because I think that I sowed it too early. So this is definitely going to become chicken feed, and I'm going to re-sow because I've literally got hundreds of those seeds, so I'm good with that. Different onions that I've got in. We've got a spare gap there for something, and the lettuce that I was just popping on into these bigger trays just to see how they come along. I've just had a water, so I've not managed to knock that one over. So yeah, they're looking quite well, but this is what I've been working on. I've got these peas waiting to grow out where I've just showed you. I've got all of these different calibres and spinach and all kinds of things all potted on, looking really well. And the tomatoes around here, they're all looking fantastic. Everything's looking really lush and healthy, and what I'm trying to do at the moment is get everything that's underneath here moved. The onions, I'm not sure whether to just put these directly into the ground now. Again, we'll see. I'm not too sure, because I want this empty because I'm going to grow basil in here. And I've just literally put the propagator back on because I've got the melons sown, and I've also got the tomatillos and the peppers in there as well. And I've just had some random dill. I've just been putting them on into different things, just to experiment basically. You know, will this one single plant grow into a huge dill plant, or does it need to be a bit more like this? I never know with herbs. Anyway, so that's one thing. Random food blender in here is excellent as a waterer. The blender itself broke a long time ago, but being me, we kept the jug for something else, but that's a different story. So yeah, I've been putting loads of beetroot in, different chogia, the Detroit, the yellow ones, and these are some radish here that should have gone out that haven't yet, which is exactly what I'm going to be doing next before I close out this video. And that's that. All of those radish are now in, and I'm going to refill those trays where they've just come out of with more radish seeds and basically just keep them going. We've been having them recently in our salads. It was so nice to be able to actually start eating from the garden. So that's there, wherever I can get them. Excuse that man. Wherever I can get them in, I'm just going to fill in the gaps and just keep constantly have a tray of different radish varieties on the go. Anyway, that's where we are right at the minute. As you can tell, right up to date. I just thought, let's see what happens over a few days. I never know what's going to happen over a few days in the garden. I am filthy. I need to go and get her cleaned up. I've got a few things to get done in the house, and then I'm going to cook us a meal for the night, and we will catch up again when there's more to show you in the garden, but not longer than a week, hopefully. So if you're enjoying the video, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help, and I will see you on the next one. Don't forget to leave us a comment, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye for now.